yeah, so some guys told us that we have to record something.
We didn't believe in that, to make an album.
And then we heard at that time a band like Love Like Blood. It's a gothic band, and we liked the production. And we looked in the not in the internet. We researched it somewhere and got an address from a studio, Marquis Studio in Reutlingen, and we wrote them a letter. At that time there was no internet, and we wrote a letter. Then we met the guy. His name was Hardy, and our drummer Little was always looking forward that we work with good people together, and Hardy didn't look like a guy who records something good. He looked very trashy and had always the same boots, and Little asked him all the time, and did you record Love Like Blood? He didn't believe it. And Hardy always said, yes, I have done this and I have done this, but we've been very suspect that he makes a good job, and all the time we ask him, and did you make the Love Like Blood album? And he always said, yes, I've done it. And then we started to record, and we've been very surprised because it had a very good feeling how to catch our spirit at that time. We've been very young guys. We didn't have any borders. We just had our own sound created in the mountains of Austria, and then we took it to Reutlingen and had a great time at the studio.
Just friends told us, you have to record, you have to do an album.
And the studio was very, very dark, and when you, for example, when Advancing Years starts, you hear the vocals, and at that time there was no Pro Tools, and he made the reverb with the machine. All the vocals were recorded first backwards. It sounded like a Chinese production, and we've been upstairs and we've been laughing about my vocals because everything was backwards. And after that we realized what Hardy makes. He made the reverb so that you first hear the sound and of the vocals before starting. In the meantime it's no problem, it's just a tool at Pro Tools, but at that time you had to record the whole vocals backwards. And also with the guitar recording, he looked that René has a good mod with candlelight. And
I just told him I need a dark, warm place. I need some candles. Hardly no words. He opened the door. There was a room full of carpets and old meubles. Some candlelights in, and I started to play the guitar. In one take the album was finished.
This was the important thing behind that we worked together with a guy completely from a different country, but it fitted together because he understood what we as a young musician need. We need someone who knows, who understands our ideas, and the only thing who made us not so secure was that he doesn't speak much to us. But when
did he speak?
I don't know, 5 words. But after that, after a few days, we realized that we work with the right person together, and this was very important for us. And when we heard the first time the behind, for me it was not easy to hear because I didn't know at that time that our sound is so crazy. For me it was normal in the rehearsal room, but when you hear the first time the record, I was really surprised how deep our sound is and how confusing. When we talked about to record the Flucht, the first step was that we wanted to record it again with Hardy. But we changed the label, and the label said, I have a great producer, his name is Andy Kopp. And he came into our rehearsal room and he was absolutely confused by our sound, because at that time the rehearsals been very loud with a lot of delay on the vocals, and when he came in our rehearsal room he was shocked about the sound, and he didn't know something about metal or gothic. He came from the pop scene, I think so, and then first he wanted to quit. He said, I cannot work with these guys, they're too confused, but after time he decided to work with us. It was the first time that someone from outside talked to us. Looking back to the Flucht, I still think they are very great songs. They have something positive inside. The lyrics and also the mood is more positive going forward.
We felt a lot of hope in it.
Maybe in the meantime I would say we can make the songs a little bit shorter, so there's a lot of repeating inside in the arrangement, but still also tonight we will play some songs like Sunlight. They have a lot of positive energy. The recording was really difficult because it was about 7 hours from our hometown, and so we have to drive a lot to Germany. At that time we had no Google Maps, and we just thought that Germany, could be big, and René at that time was often at concerts, and our first step was always, we drive to Munich, and after that we will ask a petrol station where the next step could be. So we don't have any car, we just sit in the car and drove to Germany, to Munich, and the first petrol station, and we said we have to go to Bingen, and he said, oh, you're completely wrong. Then the recording, we told Andreas that we want to sound spacey, and he misunderstood this word. Spacey in our kind was like the Pink Floyd albums with a warm sound, and his interpretation was a lot of space, and that's why the snare and the drumming is out of space sometimes when you hear it. Then I had to work, and I drove back to Austria, and Little and Andreas, they produced it. And 1 week later I came to the studio, and I was absolutely disappointed about the sound because it was too spacey. And Andreas made a lot of pressure to to me and said, "That's okay, that's good." And I always listened and louder and louder. And after an hour, I said, "Okay, it's okay, it's good."
He was a good talker, a really good talker.
Yeah. But
He tried to change our mind about this music, but it was not easy for us to go with this.
It was the first time someone from outside talked into our sound, and
just because of the sound, I wasn't happy at all with the album. I like the songs still today a lot, really a lot. But what we made out of it could have been much better, much better.
Trip to Cybertown. There we changed the whole style of working, more professional. We used samples at that time, also live. We played there with clicks, and also in the meantime we know that this kind of playing live is not the way we like to do now, because in the meantime, we don't play with clicks or anything, because then you are in a border. And Fastest Trip was a very spacey album. Little had a big role there. Also, I think great songs, but a difficult time inside the band. Also, more people were talking how we can write songs at the process, and at that time one of the harder things was the first that during the recordings my mother died. This also influenced the album to escape from reality.
Studios, I felt this will be the end for me. I wasn't happy at all. Lots of people talked to us and had told us how to do this, how to do that. We worked with keyboards. I can't imagine this. I worked with keyboards together. I really hate keyboards. I really hate keyboards.
Many people talked to us and said how we can sound and so on. And one important thing for me is that at that time René left the rehearsal room because he couldn't fit the sound. He didn't like it anymore. He didn't like that so many people talk how Mayfair should sound. Take at this time where I live now is René left the room, a good friend, where you make music for more than 15 years. He left the rehearsal room and I didn't mention it. For me it was like someone goes out, and for me in the meantime it will never happen again, because it's a friend of mine, and if we have problems we have to work it out. And this was typical for this period of time, that we just go straight ahead without any compromises, without any friendship. Just the big success was our aim, and but it will never happen again. But you see, the positive side of that time, we profit from that time. We profit that how we deal with people. We profit that the technical side cannot influence you as a musician so much, even live or in the studio. And we profit from the time that we do our own thing, and no matter what other people say, we just write our songs, and when we have a good mood, then it's okay. So there's also a big learning from the 90s, which we have now, and we take care about this because we don't make mistakes a second time.
Ten years after Cybertown, I started rehearsals again, about the guitar, about the amps that I had before. Everything sounded like Mayfair, and I thought I have to call Mario. I didn't have even a number, I lived in Berlin. I was searching in the internet, it was much easier then with the internet, and found his email address and sent him one song and waited for a reaction. And I got the reaction. Yeah.
It fitted perfectly because after the quit of Mayfair, something for me didn't stop. I just had in my mind that the Mayfair machine had to go on, and then I stopped studying, and at that time I said, okay, now I have a little bit more time, and at that moment I became the email from René, and I heard the first song and I knew
Island?
Yes, I knew that I want to work with him together again and to continue the story of Mayfair.
Das ist der Liebesverzug. Ich will nur noch raus, nur noch weit.
Then we decided to contact Lidl again, the former drummer, and also Mötle, the former bass player. And Lidl is very busy in the music business also, and he said that he hasn't got time. But for us it was important that we first asked him, and he decided that he wanted to make his projects and not to start with Mayfair again. René had the best idea again and contacted Jolly. Jolly always was a member of Mayfair.
He was always with us from the first day on, every concert, nearly every rehearsal. He was always with us.
And you both
even
grew
Jolly
up.
said it's just one option to ask Jolly.
We tried to, because for us it was
really
important to have Mötle again, because he's a great bass player. But we had a lot of problems when he realized that we want to do it professional again. We don't want to just be in the rehearsal, drink some beer and that's it. We wanted to start concert and so on, and to record something, and then you have to work together with persons who have the same aim. And then René had the second great idea. And he called Hannes. We also knew him for a very long time. Band Mayfair was complete.
It wasn't easy, we had to talk to Hannes and tell him, you will play on the biggest, hugest stages everywhere.
We made a contract with him, and every time we have a contract, we said, okay, 80% women, always big stages, open airs, and everything is paid. And he said, okay, I have I will contact you 1 week later. And he did.
Basically, I got the call from René. I was working in my lab, and I got a call from René, and it was, why does René call me? And he asked me, we're looking for a bass player. Do you want to join us? And I was why you have a bass player, you have a good bass player, yeah, but he quit and whatever, and we thought of you, and do you want to join us? And I was like, okay, I will do it.
After that, it needs time that the machine works again. So we discuss a lot, and we have the same aim. And Mayfair always, the machine works like this. The first thing is that we invest something because we know we get 100% back. The second important thing is for us the friendship with our fans, also inside the band. And when you imagine all this together and you take care about this, I think it works. And the important thing is, this is also typical Mayfair, for the machine Mayfair, that you have a big aim, and then you create the aim, and then you start it. And maybe this could also be a good way of life for you too.
When I joined the band, some songs of the album Schlage mein Herz Schlage were already done, and even with already some bass lines. And I, when I did the first rehearsals with the guys, the music that was there was very diverse. So it were a lot of different styles put together, and I tried to give some input, and we at that time we grew very much as a band. We got to know each other much better, and we grew as a band. And I think altogether it was a very raw and direct approach to the music, and we didn't think a lot of it, just went straight ahead into the sound. And I think this can be very much heard on that album.
I also think that the songs are very powerful, directly, and it was also interesting to work with Hannes during the process, because René and me, we worked together more than 20 years, so we don't have to talk much about things when we are writing songs or arrange the songs. And with Jolly it's also very easy, and with Hannes it was also easy, but he has another kind of writing songs maybe, or other words. So that we had to talk a lot to each other, that we talk from the same things. And this was very interesting, but also very important as a band. The recording, we worked together with Cook, and this is also very important because Cook was also our former technical guy in the beginning, and also for Cook the story wasn't finished, and we asked him if we can record together again, and we recorded in his studio, the Ghost Inside. The album goes very deep, it's very personally, and the songs are very short and have a lot of power. The arrangement is very simple, straightly to a point, and I think great songs.
We have Ghost Inside too.
My Ghost Inside, we spent quite some time with the songs and tried different aspects of the songs. It happened that we had a song and we said, okay, that's it. And we came up again with the same song some weeks later, and it turned out completely different than it was before. And in that way that the songs developed very, very much, but we still kept it, tried to keep it compact and to the point. And Cook got the idea we had in mind, and he helped us to get this onto the songs, onto the record. And Cook is really a great guy to work with, because he very often just was in the background and listened to the songs, and we talked and he listened to what we talked, and only after some minutes he came up with a small sentence and small, really small but very important input, and in that way he helped us very much to get our idea of the music we had in mind to get this onto the record. So it was really great to work with Cook.
He also knew the spirit from behind, because at that time he also was on tour with us, and Cook said to me he wanna make a recording like the behind from the spirit, but in a new time with a new band, but also always the aspect of what the power of behind had at that time for him.
Close as a band. That's what he missed in the after fast trip to Cybertown. It was very important to him. He wouldn't have done this album, never ever, if it didn't felt like this. And he knew he was part in this album. He's part of Mayfair, as I can sing, as long as I can sing. I think for everyone, for us, also for Jolly. We worked with Cook together all the years since Mayfair exists. He brought a good mood in us, to the band. He still do.
So the next song is, it will be on our next album. I will sing it in German.
Ήρθαμε από Βόλο για Mayfair, κλασικά, όπου και να είναι Mayfair εμείς εκεί ακολουθούμε, σε όλη την Ελλάδα, σε όλη την επικράτεια. Setlist άπεχτο, performance τέλειο, αυτά.
Ήταν πάρα πολύ ωραία, περάσαμε καταπληκτικά για μια ακόμη φορά, ακουστικό μεν, φανταστικό δε.
Συγκίνηση και μόνο. Μεγάλη συγκίνηση. Όπως πάντα δηλαδή με αυτήν την πάντα.
Πέρασαμε πολύ ωραία. Μας αρέσει και ο σκληρός ο ήχος, μας άρεσε και ο σημερινός. Την επόμενη φορά, γεια.
Σας ακούω από τον τυφλού και σήμερα το έμαθα τελείως απρόσμενα και έτρεξα να έρθω. Γεια σας.
Πάρα πολύ ωραίο. Εντάξει, εγώ δεν το περίμενα ακουστικά ότι θα τους βγει τόσο καλά, αλλά το ευχαριστήθηκαν πάρα πολύ, ειδικά τα παλιά κομμάτια βγήκαν πολύ ωραία. Ωραία παρέα, τέλεια.
Να πούμε, ήταν μια ξεχωριστή βραδιά σήμερα, ούτως ή άλλως η μουσική των Mayfair είτε μιλάει καθολικά στην ψυχή ενός ανθρώπου, είτε περνάει εντελώς αδιάφορη. Πιστεύω όσοι ήμασταν εδώ απόψε ξέραμε πολύ καλά για το τι θα δούμε, αλλά ήταν μια βραδιά που πιστεύω κανένας δεν την περίμενε να ήταν τόσο μαγική, θα έλεγα. Ήταν πολύ ιδιαίτερη. Σίγουρα κάτι που θα μείνει, ας πούμε.
Είμαι από το Βόλο και ήρθα για τους Mayfair εδώ στη Λάρισα, γιατί τους αγαπάω πάρα πολύ. Είναι καταπληκτικοί. επιτυχή. Ακόμα μία φορά τα δώσαν όλα. Είναι τέλειοι, τους αγαπώ πολύ.
Δέος και ανατριχύλα. Όποιος δεν τους ξέρει, να μπει στο ίντερνετ να τους μάθει. Γάμισαν! Γάμισαν! Γάμισαν!